Back to the Future, 1985. What a year. We have a Mercury right here, Mercury 25, 1985, and then we've got a Johnson, 1985, 25 horsepower. And there was a lot going on in the outboard industry in 1985. For one, they actually revised how they calculated or measured horsepower. It used to be at the crankshaft, so coming straight down here, and that's where they measured horsepower. And then starting in 1985, they changed the rules or allowed horsepower to be measured at the prop shaft. And this is a special year for OMC. I take that back. OMC started rating their horsepower at the prop in 1985 because Mercury had been doing it in previous years. There was always a battle out on the lake between these outboards, which one's faster, which one has more horsepower, and Mercury was always a little bit faster than the OMCs, the Evinrudes and Johnsons. And it was these are fast but won't last, and then these were durable. That was kind of the terms back then. So OMC decided to catch up and rate their horsepower at the prop shaft. So we saw a lot of differences in 1985. I'm going to clip to an older 25 horsepower. And as you can see on the older horsepower, the gear case is quite a bit different. So with the through hub exhaust, which is new for the 25 horsepower, it allowed the motor to breathe a lot more, and it just made things a lot more durable. Mercury had been doing this in their larger twin cylinders for quite some time. I think this this 1985 25 horsepower had pretty much been the same back to 81, 80, kind of that time frame. Now this particular 1985 says the XD, and that stood for extra durable. It has an oversized water inlet and water pump compared to the previous year's model 25, but displacement of the block was the same. So today what we're going to do with these two outboards is I'm going to get this Mercury out. Got it on, we're going to put it on this 1985 Sea Nymph. So everything is year correct. And we're going to measure the top speed. This has a 13 pitch prop. And this one has a 13 pitch prop. So after I get done with the Mercury, we're going to throw the Johnson on. And we're going to see really the differences in the years as far as performance goes between the two. So old school head-to-head Mercury versus OMC. Let's get these let's get this motor swapped. Let's get the boat in the water and get out and test this. So we're out here with the Mercury 25. I have the GPS here. with the wind was 27 and a half. Uh-oh. Got the plug. What the heck? Gotta have that, no wonder. First attempt, I forgot the plug. Always remember your plug, boys. Always remember your plug. Look at all that water. We have the Johnson 25, 1985 Johnson 25, 13 pitch prop. Gonna be heading into the wind here. Got the speedometer down here. We'll see how she does. So there you have it. Johnson versus Mercury, or Mercury versus Johnson. Johnson was getting about an extra mile an hour over the Mercury. Now you could attribute that to props. Other than, I mean, there really was not any other variables. Both had a 15 pitch prop. This one did have a brand new Amazon prop. I don't think this actually performs as well as the traditional OMC 13 pitch, but the Mercury had a 13 pitch prop with very few dings. You can see here This prop was actually pretty fresh. Not a lot of marks, not a lot of scuffs. This one here, I was blowing out while accelerating, getting a lot of cavitation. So, what would you like to see next? Would you like to see stainless steel 11 pitch on there? It's all packing stuff. I also have a high performance 15 pitch. Based on the RPMs, this 15 pitch is going to be too much for this setup. I'm thinking about throwing my 30 horsepower to see how much more the 30 will give me than the 25. Otherwise, we've got some more options. Got my 1981 15 horse. Got my 1978 9.9. Got the 96 Evinrude 15, and then the 96 Mercury. So we've got some outboard testing ahead of us. I would like to run the 96 Mercury against the 96 Evinrude, see how these two compare. I'd like to run the 9.9 against the 15. These are the exact same motor minus the carburetor. So yeah, let me know what you think in the comments of this test. Are you a Mercury guy? Are you an OMC guy? But back in the heyday in '85, these two motors were top of the line, and they still pretty much outperform an outboard in that category. Two strokes, they have the power to weight ratio that even today's four strokes can't touch. I appreciate you guys joining me. Do me a favor, hit that like and subscribe button. Pay attention to the next video. Take care. God bless.